Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. So good to be back with you. So good to be back with you. I wanted to talk to you guys today about karma. I know we talk about all kinds of things here on the channel, and it's been a little while that we've had a chance to chat, but this has been one of the things on my mind in the absence. Um, People have a lot of misgivings about karma, what it is, how it's executed, why it exists, and karma is 100% there to only bring balance. It's not to punish. I've had people that have wronged me tell me that I have sent karma their way as they maybe felt the wrath of uh, the energy of what they had put out coming back. And that is what karma is a boomerang. Now, I have told end-up stories here about my own personal run-ins with Miss Karma, meaning that I have received karma for toxic behaviors, unhealthy thought patterns, codependent trains of thought or relationship directions that I chose, and maybe the ways that I behaved, entitled, selfish, rude, uh, inconsiderate. We all can be this, right? This is why we have a shadow. We all have shadow and we all have light. Often on this channel and in this community, we refer to ourselves as earth angels and light workers. I want you to understand that our angels war and they fight and they're busy. They are not just floating and singing and playing harps. And that means that if we were made in the likeness of God and we are man incarnate here on earth, in flesh and bone and enrobed in skin, then we too will have our moments where we war and we fight and we don't just float and play harps, my light workers and my earth angels. And that means that you will, in fact, get karma at some point in your life for something you did, whether it was done purposely or it was done haphazardly or absent-mindedly, or it was done maliciously. Now, I do have a video here, I do believe, that says spite produces the worst karma. I pray that my sweet light workers and earth angels have not indulged in spiteful behavior past the time that they were 5 or 6 and bit somebody on the arm instead of using their words. But if you have, then maybe you can leave a comment below about karma and how it dealt with you and balanced the scales, because that's what karma is there to do, is to simply balance the scales. All right, guys? And that means that if someone has done something to you, you might not be their counterbalance. You know, a lot of you guys here that know my journey know that I dealt with someone who did something to me. Now, I've had a lot of people do things to me. If you're an empath here, you can relate. We often end up in codependent narcissistic dynamics. So our interactions with people are not always pleasant, or we find ourselves in situations that are unhealthy or codependent or tethered. And so that means that people may have been unkind to you in various ways. And someone was unkind. But here's the deal. I realized in every flashing moment, there were poignant moments and pivotal points in that interaction over the years where I could see as I proceeded that I was merely receiving karma for an interaction I had with a human over 10, almost 15 years ago. Something that I had put out of my mind, something that I had justified, something that if I were to go into great depth and explain, probably to you might even sound justifiable considering the circumstances. But this is the main takeaway about karma, especially when it comes to relationship dynamics. You know, the Bible says the golden rule is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The main rule about karma is that you don't have to accept everybody's advance, love, proposal, whatever, right? You don't have to be everybody's best friend. You don't have to do any of those things. You do, and you are morally, you are energetically, you are universally held accountable for clear communication as to why not and how you handle exit or dismount, as I call it, the Simone Biles. And out of some toxic relationships, I have definitely done some Simone Biles dismounts pre the Tokyo Olympics, meaning a full land and stick. But as we see, even with Miss Simone Biles, everybody has an off day. We don't always land and stick things perfectly, and then that's when the universe has to come in and teach us how to clean up our dismount if we're not interested in relationships. Okay, you can't force anybody to love you, to be your friend, to be your family member, to be your ace spoon coon, to be your work husband, work wife, your good walking buddy. You can't force those interactions. But if you are not interested, word to the wise, make it clear. Don't play games, because that's when you invite sweet Mistress Karma to come your way. Karma is Saturn's wife. Saturn is a planet associated with long lessons, father, and having to learn the hard way. Saturn raises and exalts you after long, hard work, or it punishes you if it sees that you have not changed your heart. Saturn's wife is Karma, and Karma comes in again as a balancer. So in my situation, I felt all of the things that I caused somebody else to feel. I remember someone crying about their parents, and they were older than me, much older than me. And because I couldn't relate and I was immature, I was not welcoming. I wasn't my normal empath self. I was like put off, and I was cold in a way that I'm not proud of, and I didn't receive him like I should have. And again, I was in my young 20s. I could justify it 6 ways to Sunday. But I remember crying about my sister who was battling cancer to someone, and they were cold and emotionally unavailable. Now we're the same age, but the point is, even though I had forgotten that I did it, in that moment when that person was cold to me and didn't receive me with warmth when I was in a deep state of sadness over that situation, I immediately, Karma, Saturn's wife, said, "Hello, sweetie. I just gotta, 1 second. Can we just chat?" And she pulled me aside and literally, almost like the ghost of Christmas past, replayed that moment when I sat with that gentleman who was having an emotional breakdown about both his parents that had crossed over. And they had crossed over at different times and many years prior to us even meeting. So it wasn't at all as though it had just happened and I was being ridiculously insensitive. But it did happen. And on some level, I was insensitive, and I got that back. I could go on and on and on, but in the situation that I had many opportunities to realize this is how I made someone feel. And the person that did that to me, did I get to punish them? Did I get to give them revenge? No, I just walked away. I cut my losses once I realized that they were a sociopath, and I walked away. But and as I recommend, when you realize someone's a narc, a covert narc, whatever, just run. Don't even try to like negotiate. You're not going to fix them. You're not going to make them better. These are not things that are going to happen. However, what I will tell you is, the person that did that to me is not going to receive their karma from me. That is not my job. I have no jury. I cannot arraign them. I cannot hold them accountable. Okay, I am not the judge, jury, or nor executioner. However, karma is. In order for karma to be served, for my situation, and maybe it applies to yours, that person would have to value and would have to love the person that may end up being or will end up being dismissive to them. She's going to have to want to be in the company of that person, care about them, whatever. In some of our dynamics, when someone is cold or callous to us, we need to realize that they did not value us the same way we valued them. I took a long time in my process, as is my way, as a writer, as a thinker, as an artist, as a spiritual practitioner, to really unpack why I got this lesson, how I can avoid it, how I can teach others to avoid it, how I could document it, record it, write a book about it. I don't do that with every lesson, but there are some that are so poignant that you realize in your life that all of your life was leading to this moment so that you could maybe extract an incredible lesson. You know, we often think of our narcissists as people that deplete us, and they do. But I like to think of them, and we'll be teaching here some lessons about the fact that it's time to look at them as teachers. Anybody that comes into your life as a teacher, you are teachers to others as well. It is not always love and light. We don't always get it right, but we are tasked to impart our wisdom, and sometimes the wisdom is toxic. I learned the most valuable lesson of my life many, 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 many in my last issue and incarnation regarding the person that I finally settled my debt of karma. I was listening to Queen Cup talk about this, and she talks about Saturn collecting debts regarding karma. Queen Cup is reader here on YouTube, out of Canada. And she's intense. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. She does like real psychological therapy here with her readings. It's fantastic. However, she talked about Saturn being the debt collector. See, I had a debt that was out with that person that I was unkind to, even though, again, I could justify it 6 ways to Sunday, but I still caused him injury. I still caused him pain. I still caused him loss, sadness, frustration, sleepless nights. Trust me, I got it all back in spades from the most unsuspecting and the most unforeseen source. That's the other thing about karma. It comes when you least expect it. If you could have told me the person that would end up paying me back would be the person that did, I would have said no way. Does that mean that I'm a bad person, that I deserve heaps and heaps of that? No. But my heart as a light worker and an earth angel, back to that part, had to connect to his pain, even if it was 10 years old, even if it had burned out like a star so many years, so many light years away in our solar system. Even though his energy no longer exists in my life in that forceful, upfront, brisk way, I had to figure out a way. And the universe had to figure out a way. And Saturn's wife, Karma, had to figure out a way. And Saturn, the debt collector, said, you will pay. Because there was something that was taken out of the wind was taken out of his sails at some of the infractions that you did throughout your relationship. And he has his own karma for things that happened between us. But I needed to know what that felt like, and he could have never taught me. I will tell you what he was with me was patient and compassionate. Not always. Every single day of our relationship wasn't a magical rainbow pony ride. But in the end, when I was really, really trying to disconnect and I was not kind and karma came and collected that, he was really altruistic and patient and kind in his own way with me. And that's why I got the karma for it. Because, yeah, we had to disconnect and we had served our time with one another. We had completed our mission. He had raised my vibration. He'd imparted whatever he was supposed to. He'd come through in my Akashic records. For those of you guys that know the verbiage, you know what I'm saying. It was a destined meeting. This was a soulmate. However, it was a soulmate because I needed to learn these lessons. So I submit that to you. Do you understand karma better after this chat? I hope you do. It is a debt collector. Okay, Saturn collects the debt. If you do not make good on your promise, Saturn is a debt collector associated with the sign of Capricorn and Father. Okay, Father Time is what Saturn would be. Karma would definitely be Mother Nature. Definitely a force of nature, something that comes in unsuspecting that can turn you upside down and you don't even know what happens to you. And, light workers, let me leave you with a positive, sweet note. Sometimes karma is delicious. When you give, you will receive, no matter what you give, period. You get to decide how you express yourself. You get to decide how you show up in the world. For years and years and years of my life, maybe many of you can relate, we overgivers, overachievers, overcompensators as we fill the hole from narcissistic parents and injuries. We have given to people that didn't deserve it, that took advantage of it, that were opportunistic, that were unkind, that were cruel. And given and given and given, yeah? To toxic co-workers, to toxic relationships, to toxic friendships or family members. The second part of my life, I cried out to God and I said, I call foul. I don't understand. And he said, oh, daughter, get ready, because I'm opening up the windows of heaven to pour you out a blessing.